you'll be surprised, this tree 20 years ago was this. Hi, I'm miltonchang of Bonsaiheirloom. I want to show you today one of my favorite bonsai, and I tell you a little bit about the history because I think that's of interest. And today my objective is to make this into a gallery tree so that I will give you 6 months or so update so frequently so that you can keep track of the development of a tree. But you'll be surprised, this tree 20 years ago was this, a cutting that I took from my mother tree or another bonsai. And like this cutting was taken no more than 6 months ago. I think it's more like 3 months. It's already had a very strong root. So it's a very fast growing tree. And what I did is I planted this tree into the ground and let it grow. I didn't touch it for probably 10 years or so, 10, 12 years. And the tree was at this level, so the roots developed underneath of it. So when I dig it up, I brush off the soil and expose the roots because I like the rootage. And then, actually it's hard to tell now, but it was actually a triple trunk. Maybe that was another trunk here. Here's a triple trunk. And I could never get it balanced right. I mean, I just could never do it after 5 years or so. I finally give up. I cut that off and make it in a double trunk, which I feel like it's a lot more pleasing to me. So sometimes you have to make drastic moves. I really would have liked to have a different triple trunk tree, but again, for the sake of, aesthetics, I did that. And so I want to go through the process how I turn a cutting into this tree and go into a little detail. And then what I'll do is I'll do some pruning. I'm not going to do too much pruning, and then repot it. And I'll show you 6 months from now what the tree will look like, because the objective at this point is fine tuning and increase ramification. So I really don't want to do too much clipping as I usually do. So first, let me just clean off some of the redundant leaves so I can see where I'm going with the branches. Like this one, I already broke it when I move it, but that's okay, it will grow back. You can never make a mistake with your bonsai, never lament, because nature is really, really clever. It would grow back to, it's a better shape, in fact, afterwards. So don't worry about making a mistake, just take a clipper and clip your tree and they will come right back. That's our philosophy. Lifestyle bonsai is not to be stressed out, worrying about all the rules that you're breaking and all the rules to keep the tree alive. Just water every day and clip away and to your liking. And the reason is that ultimately it would then conform to your liking, your vision, and so forth. So even the amount of clipping, I'll do minimum because I can do right after the leaves are all gone so I can see better. But just clip off a few obvious ones. Most likely are the ones that are kind of redundant, grow extra. Just pinch them off, like all the ones going down really gotta go, or something too crowded. But again, I would let all the leaves drop and then do the fine clipping, and then let the branches grow out, clip as little as possible, and let the branches grow out to increase ramification. So that is the process working towards a show bonsai. But in the beginning, you have to do the drastic clipping you see, like, so these are the bottom growths you'll never use, just so peel them off. They're very easy. And the main thing I want to demonstrate to you is that the elm, in a sense of repotting in the fall, with a slight adjustment, not much, because it's already in good shape. You can see I did a 360 turnaround. You can see it's in pretty good shape. Not much reshaping is necessary, but a little fine tuning could make a very big difference. So let me talk about that. So before I go into that, let me talk a little bit about the cork elm. The cork elm this is Hokkaido Cork Elm, and there are two varieties. This is the regular size, and there's a dwarf one called miniature one actually. It's called Seiju, and this is actually not too brittle. You can wire it and so forth like most bonsai, but the Seiju you cannot. You wire it, you break it, and so the only way you can do Seiju is in fact by clip and grow. And Hokkaido, by definition, it's very cold hardy. It's in the north part of Japan, very cold, very snowy, agricultural area, a lot of forests. And but I was very confused because it turns out the name is parvifolia, which to me is parvifolia is a Chinese elm. So by the strict scientific classification, it's a Chinese elm, but it's really a Hokkaido native. And it's a beautiful thing is that you can see it's beautiful yellow foliage, grows very fast, rough looking trunk, eventually corking, very desirable bonsai material. So part of the demonstration today is to show how to repot this tree in the fall. So again, I will do the fine tuning, clipping after all the leaves are gone. So, why do it twice? But let me show you the repotting. I think that's something to be learned. You see, I do not use wire to tie it down. I think it's absolutely redundant, unless you want to move it upside down, but I don't. So it's very easy to come out. This is actually not a bad part. It's not a great part, but it's a good part. Now, what I do is that I use the wire mesh, which is really nothing more than the mosquito screen. You can see this was potted about 5 years ago. The window screen is beginning to rot a little bit, but that's okay. I can reuse it. I didn't put it in real carefully because it doesn't need to be. And the idea of the root pruning screen is to prune the roots as they trying to penetrate the screen. You can see the roots are trying to penetrate the screen, and in the process it got pruned and then formed fibrous roots inside. So in fact, when I repot this, I hardly need to do any work. There's nothing wrong with the soil. I just need to add some more fertilizer in it, and I'm done. It's a really repotting using our soil mix and using the root pruning screen. It's really no work in terms of repotting. And so from this tree, you can see this is 5 years. There's no winding roots, and it can go on like that for another 5 years or 10 years. So you almost never need to repot it. So now let us study this tree. Together we decide what is the optimum front. And when I took it out of the pot, in a sense that when I potted last time, the idea is very simple. I wanted this branch to come out to create more three-dimensionality, right? But I look at it and I said, let me play with it. And if I twist just a little bit, I don't have quite as much three-dimensionality aside from this is give me the little bit of three-dimensionality. But I really like this hole. It's a little bit like a tree in a wilderness got eroded and wind up having a hole underneath of it. It's very interesting. The redwood tree, you can actually drive a car underneath of it. So to me then, rather than plant it this way, go at this angle, right? I'm now going to plant it this way. You can see it's seemed like a lot more interest. I don't know. At least that's my idea. I can see this is coming out like this and rhyme with this. Is this coming out with that? I like it. And so it's very subjective. I'm being opinionated, but heck, it's my tree, right? That's how you should look at it. So now all I have to do is just cut off or scrape off a little bit of the soil where to fit into the pot, right? Because now I reoriented, this part is sticking out and that part is sticking out. And so I would just remove them. And in fact, I can either get a new screen, which doesn't seem like any problem with the root pruning with the screen. So in fact, just put it back. I can be, let me go get a new screen, hold on. So this is nothing more than a mosquito window screen. I cut off a piece. It doesn't have to be precise, just roughly covering the bottom of the pot. And then very easy to cut off with a knife afterwards from the edge of the pot, in a sense that it does not protrude beyond the bottom. So you see, that's all you have to do, put it back in. And then I try to fit this back in. So roughly, I decided to make this the front, right? So roughly like this. It fits. I don't need to remove too much soil. I remove some soil from here, and that's done. Let me take a look if the angle needs to be adjusted. Yeah, I prefer that. It's a matter of preference. It's still got the three-dimensionality that's coming up, but I basically maybe even want to twist it a little bit more so that this is not pointing forward but sideways. So that's what I would like. I think it's kind of interesting because if you move it a little bit to the side, you see this hole and you see this hole. So let me take it out of the pot and scrape off a little bit more to fit into the pot again. And you can see the moss is growing very well in now that it's winter time. And I bet you by spring, the whole thing will be like a lawn. I think having moss is very civilized in terms of bonsai. Yeah, generally you don't want this to go towards the front. And another thing on the pot selection, according to John Naka's rule, is that try to pick the depth of the pot approximately the width. Doesn't have to, it's not a hard and fast rule, but it's more pleasant. Give you enough soil and yet give you enough of a feeling of a span. So what I did is I tried to push by removing soil here, but pushing it as much to be a little bit offside. Generally for the bonsai we ship, it's like 1/3, 2/3. But this is a pretty big tree. And then you try to push it as back as possible to give it a little bit more feeling of the span when the viewer is looking at it. And I also pointed out not to have this branch, the big root pointing forward. It's kind of like pushing viewers away, but twist it to the side to invite the viewer into the tree. So these are little subtleties. I think that's what bonsai is all about. It's you pay attention to the nuance and the detail to give it a look. And you can see when I cut my trees, I'm never very careful. But when it heals, it gives a lot of characteristic like tear. And, I don't put dab on it to cure it. It never works. Just have a goop there forever. But, that's my style. Like this is not very well manicured because most of it's dead, but this is growing. And that makes it look like a natural struggling tree in the nature, right? So in conclusion, what I've done is I show you, I took a tree like that and grew into that. Basically what happens when I planted a tree, some shoots, I guess they call it water sprout, shoots up, and that became the double trunk, or for that matter, this could become like, this is about the same height. This could become growing up to become this trunk. And so what I do is I let it grow, and then I chop off here when this got too big. Then I chop off this hole, this one, when I couldn't handle the triple trunk. And then as it grew taller, I cut off the side branches and these to make this the apex, because it was growing like this, really, really 20 feet tall. And so that's the process of making a bonsai. In the meantime, you take the branches and you wire them, make them go in the right position and right angle, and let it grow, let it grow, let it grow. And as time cures everything, and nurture along, nudging it to help nature, make the tree beautiful, capitalizing on what the nature does. And that's what you got. So please be patient. For that matter, I'm sorry, but get one of our pre-bonsai, which is really, in my mind, a bargain for what you get, including the wonderful soil that came with it. You can just use it for potting. 20 years from now, you have a masterpiece. 5 years, we'll have a very respectable tree. So that's what bonsai is about. And then you can pass on to your children, give it to your friends or your dear friend as a memory for you. It's a wonderful, unusual hobby that I hope more people will practice. So thank you very much for watching, and I see you next week. Well, thank you very much for watching today's video. Subscribe to our channel and tell a friend. And most importantly, go to our website and sign up to become our VIP so that we can send you announcements of special considerations. Thank you very much. See you next week.